Part 28. 10,000 times return, I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 271. After completing the enlightenment for Miao Tian, Su Xian returned to his residence and gave Xiaoqi Nicole Lin another visit. Lin's realm is very low, and she is still in the bronze realm now. After Su Xian's enlightenment, she was promoted to the silver realm. However, her mental strength increased rapidly, and her attainments in the great astrology became more and more profound. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Su Xian arrived as scheduled and rushed to the place where he had agreed to meet Mu Yunho. The puppet still came to see him, but Su Xian didn't care at all. In his eyes, Mu Yunho was already a dead man, the kind who had no way to go to heaven and no door to enter the earth. Qinji Ho came on time. Mu Yunho smiled softly and seemed more charming than when they met 3 days ago. It seems that Qinji Ho is also quite interested in the Holy Legion. Stop talking nonsense. Su Xian looked at her coldly. Where is the demon god seed? Give it to me. Is Qinji Ho so impatient? Mu Yunho said charmingly. In fact, there are many things more interesting than the demon god seed. For example, my body. Mu Yunho smiled. As long as you join the Legion, I am willing to serve you with all my skills. What Shui Yuang can do, I can do too. What Shui Yuang can't give you, I can do too. Su Xian's eyes swept over Mu Yunho's mimicry doll. It was indeed good looking and had a good figure, but that was all. It was too worldly and not his type. It was more than one level lower than Su Ying. Let's talk about the rest later. Su Xian said impatiently. Give me the demon god seed first. A hint of disappointment flashed in Mu Yunho's eyes. In her heart, she still longed to be controlled by a strong man, otherwise she would not call herself a concubine, and a strong man like Su Xian was completely in line with her hobby. Unfortunately, Su Xian seemed to have no interest in her. There was a movement in the bushes in the distance, and the demon seed with half of its body destroyed was dragged over by another puppet and placed in front of Su Xian. Here, what you want? Not bad. Su Xian nodded, his eyes swept over the half-dead demon seed, his palm turned into crystal, and the hand of the divine mentor was activated, piercing directly into the spine of the demon seed in front of Mu Yunho. The demon seed let out a shrill wail. Su Xian had no expression on his face. As his crystal-like arm turned black, the rest of the demon god's body was also extracted, and the demon seed gradually lost its life in the struggle. Mu Yunho, who witnessed the whole process with his own eyes, actually felt a little fear in his heart. Su Xian, who usually looked casual, indifferent, approachable, and gentle, was so skilled in extracting marrow and corroding bones. After extracting the demon body, Su Xian felt no guilt. The flames passed by and scattered the ashes of the demon seed. Qinji Ho, we have shown our sincerity. When Mu Yunho spoke again, his voice became a little restrained. What do you think? Please give me an answer. Su Xian smiled and said, I remember you said that as long as I join, any conditions can be agreed. Mu Yunho nodded. Of course, Qinji Ho is worth our efforts. Okay. Su Xian smiled. I have only one condition. If you can satisfy me, I will be a member of the Holy Legion in the future. You say? Mu Yunho was looking forward to it more and more. Go back and tell the king to take the head of the Clown King and bring it to the tomb of Hai Lao in Dingai Wangcheng and kowtow 3 times. Su Xian's smile became more intense. My condition is not too much, right? This. Mu Yunho froze in place. What? Su Xian said playfully, am I not as good as a Clown King? You are joking, Marquis Qinji. Marquis Muiyun forced a smile. The Clown King is the backbone of my sacred army. The king will not let him die. If you are willing to join, it is not a problem for him to apologize to you. After the words fell, Su Xian's face was suddenly covered with dark clouds. Do you mean that the negotiation is not going to work out? Marquis Weun felt bitter. At this point, she already knew that Su Xian was playing tricks on her. If Su Xian was really willing to join the sacred army, let alone kill a clown king, even if he killed all 12 pillars, the king might agree. But she could not see Su Xian's sincerity. Marquis Qinji, if you don't want to, it doesn't matter. Marquis Weun took a step back and said, the king said that the demon seed will be given to you for free, just consider it as making friends. Friend. The next moment, Su Xian's murderous intent was revealed. You guys, a bunch of underground rats, are worthy of being friends with me? Today, I will start with you. Marquis Weun's face changed drastically. You don't keep your word. Bang. The voice stopped abruptly, and Su Xian punched the puppet. At the same time, the big star disk technique was running. When communicating with Marquis Weun, Su Xian had been calculating the location of Marquis Weun's real body, otherwise he would not have wasted so much time talking to this woman. In a hidden cave 300 miles away from the base of the First Legion of Dragon Country, Marquis Weun's face was pale, and a strong sense of crisis rose from his heart. Damn man. Marquis Weun couldn't help but swear. She could feel that Su Xian was chasing in her direction. I thought that if the puppet went ahead, the real body would be safe, but Mu Yunho realized now that she had seriously underestimated Su Xian. The other party definitely had a secret technique to track the source. She fled madly to a far distance. As long as she escaped to the base of Lulan Star, she could save her life for the time being. Just after escaping for more than 10 miles, space fluctuations were heard in the distance. How come it's so fast? Feeling Su Xian's breath, Mu Yunho's legs softened. She had never thought that Su Xian would not only easily find the location of her real body, but also track her down so quickly. Whoosh! 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 Silver light flashed. In a few breaths, Su Xian had already caught up, and the terrifying pressure fell from the sky. Su Xian looked down at the pale-faced Mu Yunho. Qian, Qinji Ho. Let me go. As a marquis, Mu Yunho could not raise any thoughts of resistance when facing Su Xian, and cried for mercy, as long as you let me go, I am willing to do anything. Mu Yun is your cow and horse, and your dog. After practicing to this point, Mu Yunho cherished her life very much, and she was unwilling to die like this. When begging for mercy, Mu Yunho's posture was even more pitiful, and her charming body was fully displayed, trying her best to arouse Su Xian's pity. Het. Su Xian was too lazy to take a second look and swung it out casually. The 1000 machine sword fell. Puff. The long sword pierced through the body of Marquis Weun, bringing up a bloody rain and devouring his vitality. 10,000 times return. I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 272. To Su Xian, killing a Mu Yunho was as peaceful as killing a chicken. He had already guessed what the Holy Legion was thinking. It was nothing more than an attempt to sow discord and cause a rift in the relationship between him and the authorities. This approach has indeed been tried and true. After all, people's hearts are unpredictable. No one will put themselves in the other person's shoes and think about the problem. Poor understanding can easily cause the relationship to break down. However, Su Xian didn't care about this at all. As long as you are strong enough, all doubts will be overcome. Su Xian returned to the Legion base. As the days pass, research on the violent plague restraint has also progressed. It has been tested and used on various patients, and the results are pretty good. There have been no side effects so far. During this period, Su Xian also tried to deduce the source of the violent plague, but found nothing. The power of the divine envoy is too powerful, and his current state is still far away from that level. It is normal to not be considered. Su Xian came to the treatment center. Looking over, the patients all put on the restraints developed by the Blue Star Alliance. Even some patients who had been delirious before recovered. Su Xian, you are here. Pei Xiu was collecting information from many patients. When she saw Su Xian coming over, she waved, I have asked many patients during this period and found a problem. What's the problem? More than a dozen patients said they had seen a ghost traveling on the battlefield when they were ill, and the places they saw were far apart. Pei Xiu said solemnly, do you think this ghost is the source of the violent plague? It's very possible, Su Xian thought thoughtfully, if only one person sees it, it may be an illusion, but if more than a dozen people see the same ghost in different places, there is a real problem. Pei Xiudao, the Blue Star Alliance also sent people to look for it, but they couldn't find the so-called ghost. It is beyond our capabilities to trace the origins of this incident. Su Xian knew it well and no longer thought about finding the source of the violent plague. When your strength improves and you are able to come into contact with a certain level, those things that were once incomprehensible will naturally be solved. At this time, an old scholar from the research team came over. Qianjihao, Dean Pei, do you think this plague also came from the source of the plague, one of the four forbidden places? Impossible. Pei Xiu shook his head and rejected, as for the source of the plague in the Forbidden Land, the official has been studying it for hundreds of years, and now this project is led by me. The virus there is called the Black Plague. It is completely different from the violent plague. That virus causes permanent mutations in living organisms. The violent plague will only make people violent, and they can still return to normal after that, but it will overdraw their vitality during the violent period. Both plagues have their own terrible features, but at present we need to pay more attention to the spread of the violent plague. Su Xian listened. He also went out of his way to learn about one of the four forbidden areas, the source of plague. After all, after solving the problem of the absolute frozen soil, they would go to the source of plague. After chatting for a while, Su Xian left the treatment center. Return to your residence. Lin Suying happened to be resting in the yard. What's going on with the violent plague? Seeing Su Xian coming back, Lin Suying asked worriedly. It's under control for now. Su Xian smiled and said, the treatment team has developed a restraint device that can suppress the outbreak of violent plague. There should be no problems in a short time. And you? How are you preparing? Lin Suying sat on the recliner, shaking her long white legs, with a calm smile on her face. I will do things naturally and safely, and I will wait for you. Su Xian chuckled, sat down on the recliner, and hugged Lin Suying, who was fragrant and soft. Then I'm ready to go to war with my wife. Lin Suying turned around, and the two faced each other, squeezed into the small rocking chair, and their breaths collided. The rocking chair squeaked. The poor rocking chair was carrying more weight than it should have at its age. Lin Suying, who was smiling just a second ago, turned cautious in an instant, looked at Su Xian, and warned, the danger level of the absolute frozen soil is as high as that of the infinite altar. If you are in danger, don't be reckless. The old rule is that you must go first. Su Xian smiled helplessly, yes, your husband is very good at running away. He will never be sloppy. Lin Suying rolled her eyes. She was also helpless. The two have been together for so long, and she has already understood Su Xian's ups and downs, inside and out. Last time at the infinite altar, Su Xian also said to run away in time. As a result, when the fight started, it was unbelievably ferocious. In that kind of situation, Su Xian looks calm on the surface, but he must also be nervous on the inside, right? I'll talk to you first. Lin Suying said, the guardian creature of the absolute frozen soil should be an ice dragon. It lives on the top of the snow mountain in the deepest part of the absolute frozen soil, and our target is also there. Also, the environment deep in the absolute frozen soil is very harsh, and even the strongest kings will be affected. Su Xian looked at her and blinked. Lin Suying said angrily, what are you doing? Su Xian scratched his head. Actually, I want to say that I am immune to the ice element, and the temperature drop caused by the accumulation of ice elements cannot have any impact on me. His prototype of chaos body has an evolution level of 36%, and is basically immune to basic elements. The only things that can hurt him are the power of law and the power of the world of King Feng. Two black lines crossed Lin Suying's forehead. That's fine. Now everyone is bragging about how great Su Xian is. The name of Qin Jiho is shocking and the first genius of all time. On the contrary, she, who has always been with Su Xian, regards Su Xian's powerful deeds as daily. Then when do we set off? Su Xian was planning in his heart that after finishing the last two forbidden areas, he would probably be able to meet the senior. At that time, the truth should also surface. The mysterious senior, Suying's teacher, Xiaoli's life experience, the prophecy of Moira of destiny, and the final secret of the fusion of the two worlds 500 years ago. The countless mysteries that linger like clouds and mist will eventually be revealed. Lin Suying looked at the red clouds in the sky. Wait, 3 days later. Su Xian looked at her. He could see a little sadness on that beautiful face. Suying looked calm on the surface, but she must be nervous inside, right? The evening breeze blew. Su Xian called out at the right time, Suying, it's getting cold, let's go back to the house and rest. Lin Suying turned her head, glanced at him, her cheeks flushed, and she spat softly, you're not doing your job all day long. Su Xian said righteously, what do you mean by not doing your job? This is natural, adhering to the mystery of the natural way and pursuing the truth of life. Enjoy life in time, only then can you be truly happy. You're really good at talking nonsense. Woo woo woo. The rocking chair finally had a holiday. The bed in the room also entered working hours. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 10,000 times return, I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 273. One of the 4 forbidden areas, the edge of the absolute frozen land. The white snow covered the mountains and rivers, and the white cold fog blocked the sky. At the edge of the frozen land, 2 figures stood. Finally arrived. Looking at the vast expanse of white ahead, Su Xian's mood became more serious. The environment of the absolute frozen land was worse than he had imagined. Let's go. Lin Suying was carrying the Shuiyu sword, wearing a tight combat suit, and her expression was not relaxed. The two looked at each other and walked hand in hand into the cold fog. In the vast cold fog, the two held hands tightly. Su Xian could feel that the temperature here had some effect on Lin Suying, and white frost formed on her combat suit. You should know that Suying was wearing tailor-made legendary quality equipment, which shows how bad the environment of the absolute frozen land is. After walking for a distance, there were bursts of strange roars in the distance. The destination should be nearby. According to Lin Suying's plan, this trip is not to go directly to the top of the snow mountain in the deepest part of the absolute permafrost. Just like the infinite altar, they still have preliminary work to complete. With their current realm, if they face the ice dragon on the top of the snow mountain directly, the chance of winning is almost zero. Thinking back then, the evil dragon that was weakened 99 times had an extremely difficult fight, not to mention the snow mountain ice dragon that occupied the geographical advantage. There should be some snow tribe people living nearby. The two walked hand in hand, and Lin Suying patiently explained to Su Xian some stories that had happened in the absolute permafrost. More than 400 years ago, a human team organized by the people entered the absolute permafrost and had a fierce battle with the snow beasts living here. The team suffered heavy losses, and the survivors found that they had grown the fur of snow beasts on their bodies after escaping from death. At that time, they were regarded as monsters by the Blue Star Alliance and were not accepted. In the end, Those who survived could only enter the absolute permafrost to make a living, survive in a harsh environment, and gradually developed into the Snow Tribe. Lin Suiying sighed, the Snow Tribe hates humans very much. If we run into them, I'm afraid we can't avoid a fight. Su Xian was quite helpless. In the turbulent times back then, people were dominated by the fear of monster invasion. I'm afraid few people could accept the mutated Snow Tribe. If it were now, they would be much more tolerant. Different times naturally look at things differently. Suddenly, the Shuiyu sword behind Lin Suiying hummed. There are creatures coming. Lin Suiying's perception is extremely sharp. She can immediately detect any life approaching within 20 miles. It should be the Snow Tribe living nearby, Su Xian guessed. What they are looking for is called sunburn stone. This thing is hidden deep underground. Its existence can make the surrounding environment warmer, and it is also a must-have for dealing with the ice dragon on the top of the snow mountain. Approaching here, both of them can feel the temperature nearby is dropping. Perhaps the Snow Clan was able to survive and reproduce because of the environment provided by the sun-burning stone. Otherwise, with the bodies of the Snow Clan just mutated, they would have been frozen to death in the absolute frozen soil. Not long after, Su Xian and Lin Suiying felt the movement coming from not far away. It was the Snow Clan. These Snow Clan members were still riding snow beasts. The enemies who once fought to the death seemed to have become good friends in the past few hundred years. Hide first. In the unclear situation, Lin Suiying didn't want to conflict with these Snow Clan members for no reason. After hundreds of years, there should be powerful kings in the Snow Clan. With the alliance of snow beasts, there may be more than 5 kings. She joined forces with Su Xian, and she was not afraid of just a few kings, but there was no need. The two of them had extraordinary cultivation and easily avoided the detection of the Snow Clan. After the group of Snow Clan left, they continued to move forward. The temperature nearby was getting warmer and warmer. The two could even feel the heat coming from the ground. The burning sunstone should be in the area below this area. It's a bit difficult to collect the burning sunstone. Su Xian sensed the surroundings. There were Snow Clans stationed everywhere near the burning sunstone mine. It was almost impossible to take the burning sunstone without being noticed by the Snow Clan. Then there is no way. Lin Suiying's face was cold. I can only use force. Although the former Snow Clan was pitiful, she would not be soft-hearted in the face of the general trend. When it was time to kill, her heart was definitely colder than the top of the snow mountain. It was never her style to look ahead and behind. Alas! Su Xian sighed. It was the fault of the times and the will of heaven. No wonder the sword was ruthless. Moreover, over the years, the Snow Clan had retaliated against the human race a lot, and many human races died tragically at the hands of the Snow Clan. The hatred between the two sides had long been irreconcilable. The hatred and despair of being abandoned by the same race was even greater than the killing on Lulan Star. During the conversation, the two had already found the deposit of the burning sunstone. 2 marquises stationed there. Su Xian glanced at them. It seems that the Snow Clan values the burning sunstone mine very much. The number of human beings who entered the absolute frozen land was not large at the beginning, only a few hundred people. Even after more than 400 years of reproduction, the population base must not be large. The 2 marquises should be considered to have a high status in the Snow Clan, but they are working as security guards. This shows how much they value it. Kill. Lin Suiying's expression was still cold. Su Xian nodded. The 1000 machine sword and the flowing star meteorite knife fell into his hands. The two looked at each other and saw a flash of hesitation in each other's eyes. After all, they were once the same race and still had human blood. But it was only a moment of hesitation. For the prosperity of the human race, so many human compatriots have died, not to mention the mere Snow Clan. The next moment, the two rushed out at the same time. Whoosh! The sword flashed. The sword was so fast that the two marquises had no time to react and had already lost their lives. A sharp warning sounded immediately. Something happened. It's the burning sun mine. It must be the scum from Blue Star again. These greedy, ruthless, and selfish Blue Star people will never repent. This time, this king will make them suffer. In an underground palace somewhere in the frozen soil, 3 kings stood up from the ice and snow throne and rushed to the location of the burning sun mine. In the deep snow, 2 snow beasts over 20 meters high also ran out. 5 auras rushed through the silent frozen soil. In front of the mine, Su Xian and Lin Suiying also sensed the unbridled and wild aura. You go get the sunburned stone. Leave the rest to me. Lin Suiying's face was calm, the cold wind blew her hair, the white snow set off her cold and beautiful face, 1 person and 1 sword, isolated from the world. At this moment, she was the sword fairy of Linfan. Her eyes looked into the distance. 5 fierce eyes were cast in the distance, and the 2 sides confronted each other from a distance, with endless murderous intent in their eyes. 10,000 times return, I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 274. Human Race. Damn. 3 Snow Clan Kings and 2 King-level Snow Beasts. 5 powerful auras intertwined, earth-shaking, and the snow and fog covering 100 miles in radius were broken through by this angry aura. Lin Suiying held the water moon sword in her hand, her face still calm. She could feel that the 3 Snow Clan Kings were only in the first stage of the realm fruit state, and were unstable. It seemed that they had relied on external forces to reach this stage. The 2 king-level snow beasts were actually stronger, barely reaching the level of the World Lord. Jinghu. 300 miles. Lin Suiying's red lips opened slightly, and the water moon sword bloomed with bright light. The scene between heaven and earth changes, the snow disappears, replaced by a vast and calm lake. Thousands of sword shadows are reflected on the water. The bright moon rises slowly from the bottom of the lake. The most powerful secret of Jinghua Shuiyu swordsmanship. 300 miles away from Mirror Lake, there is a magical moon between heaven and earth. The expressions of the 5 great kings changed. They were obviously 5 against 1, but they felt an extremely strong sense of oppression. The sword shadow of the 300-mile Mirror Lake seemed to bury them here. Don't be frightened by her, a Snow Clan king pretended to be calm, but if there is a female prostitute, 5 of us will fight one. She cannot be our opponent. It must be resolved as soon as possible. Someone has already entered the stone mine. Kill. The 5 great kings came out at the same time. The bodies of the 2 snow beasts were like hills, blocking out the sky and the sun. Their fists roared and blasted out wildly. Whoosh. The moment the Snow Clan took action, Lin Suiying's figure had disappeared above the sword lake, and countless water moon swords rose up from the lake. The cold sword intent filled the world. Above the head of the huge snow beast, the illusory water moon sword shadow suddenly solidified. Lin Suiying appeared above the snow beast, and her hand holding the sword slowly released. The hilt of the sword fell from his hand, and the Shuiyu sword fell vertically. Boom! The sound of heavy objects falling on the water was heard. It resounded in the hearts of the 5 Snow Clan kings. Then there was a loud bang, and the snow beast's skull exploded instantly, turning into fragments like a mirror. The exploded skull flew away like flying dandelions. The move, which was obviously full of killing power, looked so beautiful at this moment. Lin Suiying stood lightly in the sky, looking down at the several princes with a cold expression, as if she was floating like a fairy. The snow beast with its skull exploded fell. It had not completely lost its vitality, but was seriously injured. The pus on its head was very bloody. The other 4 kings of the Snow Clan only felt their scalps numb. There is a gap between their realm and the real king. What's more, the weapons of this human king are still of mythical quality, and the other equipment in his body is at least legendary. The Snow Clan's background is far different. No matter what, it's death. Fight. The Snow Clan kings realized that the situation was not good and did not dare to hold anything back. Frost appeared on their faces and limbs, and half of their bodies were completely frozen. At the same time, their strength is also growing, but their life breath is being consumed extremely quickly. Ha! Sacrifice your life. Lin Suiying's eyes were contemptuous. It seemed that these Snow Clan kings were all strong on the outside but weak on the inside. It was unknown what kind of power they had used to rise to this level, and they even started to use secret techniques like life sacrifice. Whoosh! 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 After sacrificing their lives, the Snow Clan became king much faster. The three of them rushed towards Lin Suiying at the same time, but the power of the world mobilized by the three of them together still seemed weak in front of Lin Suiying. Facing the siege, Lin Suiying took her time and moved freely in the mirror lake, her figure shining. Flowers in the mirror, moon in the water, virtual and real. He easily manipulated the three Snow Clan kings into his hands. The snow beast seemed to know that it was outmatched, and ran away wildly carrying another snow beast whose skull was exploded. Looking at the snow beast leaving, Lin Suiying felt a little uneasy in her heart. That direction is, the snow-capped mountains. She had speculated before that the Snow Clan's king's promotion with the help of external forces was probably related to the ice dragon on the top of the snow mountain. Now it seems that it is indeed the case. The ice dragon was unwilling to be imprisoned on the top of the snow mountain and wanted to break out of the forbidden area. It's just that I don't know how these snow tribe people get in touch with the ice dragon. They shouldn't be able to get close to that place. We have to fight quickly. Lin Suiying didn't want to delay for too long. If she and Su Xian hadn't taken action together to protect the burning sunstone mine from being destroyed, they would probably be able to kill these three half-assed kings in a few rounds. The three major Snow Clan kings secretly complained. I lamented in my heart that Lin Suiying was too fierce, and I am afraid that this time it will be a disaster. They also saw that this human king came for the burning sunstone mine. The Snow Clan has been hiding for many years, but is it still going to be wiped out by the human race? They are not willing to give in. Back then, they were abandoned by the ruthless human race and forced into the absolute frozen soil. Their relatives and friends died tragically and they struggled to survive. Now that they are hiding here, are they going to be destroyed? If the human race is like this, it is better to be captured by Lulin Star as soon as possible. At that time, they will have a piece of land to live in. The three Snow Clan kings became red-eyed. However, the human woman in front of them was too strong, and the absolutely cold sword intent chilled them even more than the frozen soil. She crushed them all with one sword. This made them frustrated and angry. Even the scorching sunstone mines that they relied on for survival were disappearing rapidly. This human accomplice was collecting scorching sunstones. If they lose the protection of the burning sunstone, not only will they die here, but their tribe will be completely destroyed. Why? The female king of the three Snow Clan kings roared, "What have we done wrong? Do we have to kill them all?" Looking at the grief-stricken and hateful female king of the Snow Clan, Lin Suiying's cold eyes finally showed a slight fluctuation. She finally spoke. The actions of the human ancestors were indeed inappropriate. But what about your actions in these years? Many human compatriots have died in your hands. The beautiful sword intent of the water moon sword spread. Ripples spread on the calm lake. Since you have chosen to stand on the opposite side of the human race, it is meaningless to talk about right and wrong. As a member of the human race, on this trip, I only clear the way for the human race. I must take the burning sunstone. The life and death of your Snow Clan has nothing to do with me. After the voice fell, the water moon sword flew out again. This time, she was even faster. The 300-li mirror lake was all covered by a rising bright moon. With one sword strike, the beautiful and sharp sword arc cut through the sky. Bang! The mirror lake was shattered. The bright moon was shining in the daytime. A blue lotus blossomed in the shattered space. The flowers withered. At the same time, the 3 lives of the Snow Clan that were buried in the beauty withered. After confirming that the 3 Snow Clan kings would not live again, Lin Suying's tense face gradually relaxed, her chest was heaving, she was panting, and sweat oozed from her forehead. Even if they were 3 half-baked kings, they were still kings after all, which consumed a lot of her energy. In the mine, Su Xian turned into a mining maniac, frantically collecting the burning sunstone. His mental power was also always paying attention to the battle outside. His wife was still so strong, beautiful, and charming on weekdays, and heroic in fights. She is simply a model of a good wife who can fight on the battlefield and get off the bed. Warm reminder, if you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error or contact us at the bottom to inform us, we will handle it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding. 10,000 times return, I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 275. After the battle, Lin Suying came to the burning sunstone mine. The environment inside is completely different from outside. It's freezing outside, but it's steaming inside. What the sunstone emits is not pure heat energy, but extremely compressed fire elements. However, the hot and cold environment didn't seem to have any effect on Su Xian. Even the scorching sunstone that she couldn't touch directly was played with by Su Xian at will. This is also the reason why she asked Su Xian to collect the burning sunstone. She stared at Su Xian in fascination. Thinking of her stubborn self, she felt a little ridiculous in her heart. It turned out that she was so happy to have a reliable man supporting her. If it weren't for Su Xian, based on her own words, the progress of the plan would have been much slower. In a short period of time, half of the Zwari stone mine had been collected by Su Xian. I have a bad feeling. Lin Suying said, the Snow Clan and Snow Beast seem to have come into contact with the Ice Dragon on the top of the Snow Mountain. They may not have direct communication, but they may have obtained part of the Ice Dragon's power. Su Xian didn't care too much, whatever, we're just here to kill that insect, or any snow beast from the Snow Clan, we can kill them together. Don't underestimate the enemy. Lin Suying looked solemn, the evil dragon of the infinite altar has been weakened 99 times. We can only kill it. Dealing with the ice dragon will be more difficult than the evil dragon. I know. Su Xian smiled and threw the sunstone in his hand. Isn't there such a thing? The senior has paved the way, let's just go. Yes, you collected first. Lin Suying smiled slightly and sat next to him. The battle just now took a lot of damage, I want to take a rest. With Su Xian guarding her, Lin Suying didn't need to be on guard at all and entered a deep state of recuperation, trying her best to restore her energy. Time passed bit by bit. The frozen soil filled with cold fog also fell into the dark night. The sunstone has been harvested almost completely. The stone mine was shaking slightly, as if it could not hold up and was about to collapse. A loud rumble came from outside, and when the mental energy was stretched out, an avalanche occurred. It should be that the sunstone was exposed to light, which affected the environment here. Without the sunstone mine, the absolute frozen soil has become even colder, and the avalanches are so violent that they are likely to collapse the mines that have been mined out. Lin Suying, who was recuperating, suddenly opened her eyes. Let's go first. Avalanches are not scary to her. What she was afraid of was that this was not an ordinary avalanche, but that the ice dragon on the top of the snow mountain had noticed it and launched a counterattack. Where to go next? Snowy mountains. Yeah, Lin Suying nodded. The star map behind Su Xian was displayed. After a little deduction, there was a purple star shining on the star map, which meant that the road there was not smooth. The dangers of absolute frozen soil go far beyond that. The top of the deep snow-capped mountains is the real dangerous place. The two people rushed out of the mine, went upstream from the rolling avalanche, and rushed straight into the depths of the frozen soil. They saw the mountains collapsing in the snow deep in the depths. Su Ying, look, what is that? In the countercurrent, Su Xian suddenly had a sense and saw something falling from the sky in the distance. Pillar. Lin Suying frowned. She saw a huge snow pillar falling, like a sky pillar. As the pillar fell suddenly, the entire frozen soil shook violently. Immediately afterwards, a second snow pillar appeared. The third one. The fourth one. More and more pillars of snow are falling. No, Lin Suying was suddenly startled, that's not a snow pillar, that's a young dragon's egg. The two of them were getting closer and closer to the pillars. If they looked carefully, they could see where the snow pillars were. They were clearly densely packed dragon eggs. Not only dragon eggs, but also insect eggs of other animals. The avalanche was indeed caused by the ice dragon. Lin Suying was a little worried. It seems that they have also made preparations and are not waiting for death. The previous dealings with the evil dragon at the Infinite Altar and the Insect King at the Wailing Cave were relatively smooth. According to the guidance of the senior, the two forbidden areas were solved without any danger. The ice dragon, which was completely frozen, was obviously prepared. Before they even went to the snow mountain, the ice dragon had already launched a counterattack. It seemed that this battle would be more difficult than imagined. While thinking, the snow pillar in front collapsed. The dragon egg melts. Countless ice dragons flew out, and dense ice spiders rolled in like a snow tide, making people's scalp numb at the sight. Is this preparing to consume our energy? Looking at the endless spiders and baby dragons, there is no fear, but if you want to kill them all, you will definitely spend a lot of energy. Spending energy here will lower your chances of winning when facing the ice dragon. Su Xian complained, is this dragon male and female, or does it reproduce asexually? Why does a dragon lay so many dragon eggs? Maybe it has some strange deal with the old spider on the snow mountain. Lin Suying held her forehead. What are you thinking? When you reach the realm of ice dragons, it is not a strange thing to rely on the source to condense dragon eggs and give birth to babies by yourself. In the third stage of becoming a king, the inner world can cultivate simple life, and use the origin of life to understand the origin of the real world. Some creatures can reproduce on their own at this stage. After giving Su Xian a few words of science, Lin Suying realized something was wrong and added. Of course, based on human body structure, it is impossible to achieve this step before ascending to the divine realm. As for after becoming a god, I don't know. The crisis ahead hit, and the two were still talking and laughing. Su Xian asked, wife, your current state should be infinitely close to the origin state. How about you let me help you provide some life origin? It's not serious at this time. Lin Suying glared at him fiercely, but her cheeks were slightly rosy. I told you that when we no longer need to run around, you can have as many as you want, but not now. Are you thinking wrongly? That's not what I meant. Su Xian was helpless. I'm talking about the serious origin of life. Pooh. Lin Suying's face turned even redder. It doesn't matter whether your life origin is serious or not, you are not serious anyway. Su Xian. All he could do was whisper. It doesn't matter whether you are right or not, if your wife says you are wrong, you are wrong. Ahead, a raging wave has hit. Endless ice spiders and baby dragons rushed towards the two of them. Lin Suying came out with a sword. The 1,000 machine sword kept buzzing, and Su Xian could feel its excitement. These young dragons were all real life, and their endless blood was the 1,000 machine sword's favorite tonic. The two fought their way through the frozen soil on a long bloody road. All the way to the top of the snow mountain. Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbspeed -01, container, Tabula below article feed, placement, below article feed, target. Type, mix. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 10,000 times return, I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 276. Killing from the outer edge of the absolute permafrost to the depths. The snow-white world had already been dyed red. Why are there so many baby dragons? When they killed halfway up the mountain, Su Xian felt his scalp tingling, as if the dragon eggs were still hatching, as if they were free. In a trance, the mountains were not mountains, and the snow was not snow. The vast expanse of white was all dragon eggs and spider eggs. Something is wrong, Lin Suying felt more and more uneasy. This is completely beyond expectations. The sealed ice dragon should not have such a great influence. I'm afraid the Snow Clan did something. Although the power of the Snow Clan is very weak and it is difficult to cause great damage to the seal, as long as there is a slight change, the situation may be reversed. I should have guessed it earlier. Lin Suying was quite annoyed. The temperature of the absolute permafrost has been dropping again and again, which must have been affected by the ice dragon. The increase in the power of the ice dragon means that the seal is weakened. Su Xian, you go set up the sun-burning formation, I'll cover you. To deal with the ice dragon, setting up the sun-burning stone formation is an indispensable part. Only the sun-burning stone formation can suppress the power of the ice dragon to the greatest extent. Okay. Su Xian nodded and took out the sun-burning stone. A dark red and purple three-color field appeared. The power flowed, easily refining hundreds of sun-burning stones into a cylinder that was more than 100 meters long and half a meter in diameter. He held the sun-burning pillar tightly and inserted it on the hillside. The scorching breath exploded. The light was bright, like a small sun. Countless young dragons and spiders turned to ashes under the scorching breath. But soon, they rushed up in a more crazy posture, as if to completely destroy the sun-burning pillar. Alas, Su Xian sighed, this won't work. To set up the sun-burning formation, 1001 sun-burning pillars need to be placed in different locations. But the attacks of the young dragons were too crazy. Once they left, these young dragons would try their best to destroy the pillars. Su Ying, I'll deal with these young dragons, you set up the formation. Su Xian had an idea in his mind. After a long fight, the devouring characteristics in his domain were gradually cultivated and fully developed. With the help of the 1000 machine sword that had been nurtured for a long time, there was basically no consumption in the group battle. Want to consume? Then let's see who can outlast whom. The 7-layer devouring domain opened. The scarlet blood rushed to Su Xian frantically. At this time, his whole temperament changed, like the hell blood demon lord who walked out of hell. Every time he swung his sword, hundreds of young dragons were killed. In this state, Su Xian's perception of the breath of life became extremely sharp. His scarlet blood-stained eyes looked at the top of the mountain. The devouring domain devoured part of the breath of life, and another part rushed to the top of the mountain, which should be returned to the ice dragon. I see. No wonder the birth of young dragons is endless. This method is very similar to the relationship between the evil dragon and the undead creatures. The difference is that killing these young dragons can plunder some of their life breath, while killing undead creatures cannot do so at all. The flowing star meteor knife also appeared in Su Xian's hand. In terms of group destructive power, the effect of summoning the power of chaotic universe meteors attached to the flowing star meteor knife far exceeds the blood and chi swallowing effect of the 1000 machine sword. The space was turbulent, meteorites fell, and the knife light was flying. Large pieces of young dragons were smashed into blood foam by meteorites. At the same time, Lin Suying began to arrange the burning sun formation. One after another, the burning sun pillars that were refined and activated were inserted into the mountain. The temperature gradually faded from cold to warm. The attacks of the young dragons were still fierce, but they were still weaker than before. As more and more burning sun pillars were activated, the young dragons stopped attacking and flew to the top of the mountain. Then a shrill roar came from the top of the mountain. Su Xian and Lin Suiying looked at each other. Both of them looked very solemn. The shrill roar just now was made by the snow beast. The two king-level snow beasts that escaped before really went to the top of the snow mountain. Now that they are roaring shrilly, it may not be a good thing. Speed up. Without the obstruction of the young dragon, the two of them set up the burning sun formation at the same time, and the sense of urgency in their hearts became stronger and stronger. Rumble. There was a loud noise from the top of the mountain, and something exploded. Looking up, there was a green liquid spreading all over the sky, with a disgusting stench. Then Su Xian saw two huge dragon claws appear in the air. Ice dragon. Did it break free from the seal? Lin Suiying's face changed drastically, and her body was shaking. This was not fear, but an instinctive reaction when facing strong pressure. Su Xian also had a solemn expression. He saw something rolling down from the top of the mountain. Looking closely, it was a shriveled corpse, some of the snow tribe and some of the snow beasts. They seemed to have been sucked dry by something, with no breath of life, but their death was strange, with an expression of relief, and some even died with a smile. Sucked dry and still smiling. Su Xian was a little furious. He could guess with his feet that the ice dragon's escape from the seal was related to the corpses of these snow beasts of the snow tribe. It was likely that they used some kind of sacrifice to loosen the seal. Both of them realized the seriousness of the matter, and the speed of setting up the scorching sun formation continued to increase. The movement on the top of the mountain became more and more intense. Just then, a figure with frost all over his body swooped down from the top of the mountain with a grim smile on his face. Human race, damn it! The great god of frozen earth will avenge us. He is, the leader of that group of people back then. Lin Suiying narrowed her eyes and looked at the figure covered with frost. She had seen this person in the information and had a deep memory of him. It was this person who led the Snow Clan to rebel and survive in the absolute frozen soil. She thought he had died long ago. But she didn't expect that he had become a puppet of the Ice Dragon. The Snow Clan's sacrifice seal was probably led by this person. The man looked at Su Xian and Lin Suiying and laughed wildly. The frost on his body gradually faded, and the blood breath on his body was exactly the same as that of the human race. He said hysterically, "Did you see it? In fact, after entering the absolute frozen soil, I found a way to remove the infection, but the dirty and ugly faces of humans made me feel sick. From the day my wife died tragically, I didn't want to be a human anymore. What's wrong with becoming the Snow Clan in your mouth? Today, the heavy snow will destroy you dirty humans. The great god of frozen soil is about to come, you two bugs will die, and all humans will be buried with my wife." Looking at the crazy figure in front of them, Su Xian and Lin Suiying were silent. Without their help, the life force of this person was gradually fading away. No one could have imagined that what he did back then would lead to such a change. In his eyes, it was probably the selfishness and ruthlessness of humans that forced his wife to death. From then on, the hatred in his heart could not be resolved. Now he even brought countless members of the Snow Clan to sacrifice. Lin Suiying had no intention of commenting on who was right or wrong. What happened today was an inevitable situation. The bitter fruit that was sown back then would eventually have to be swallowed by humans themselves. Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbs feed -01, container, tabula below article feed, placement, below article feed, target. Type, mix. 10,000 times return, I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 277. Plop. The leader of the Snow tribe, who had lost his life in the wild laughter, fell into the vast white snow. Lin Suiying found it both funny and pathetic. One of the four forbidden areas, the desperate ice dragon, had become the god of frozen earth in the eyes of the Snow tribe. The two worked together to insert the largest pillar of the burning sun into the mountainside. A hot breath was gushing out. 1001 burning sun pillars burst out with light at the same time. The brilliant light intertwined and merged. They merged together and turned into a long rainbow, rushing straight to the top of the mountain. The white world was broken by the fiery red pillars, and the whole snow mountain was shaking. Human. I've been waiting for you for a long time. A deep and powerful voice came from the top of the mountain. Su Xian and Lin Suiying flew to the top of the mountain. They saw the blue-purple giant sub-dragon sealed on the top of the mountain. The ice covered its huge body, forming a layer of hard ice armor. On its head, like the evil dragon of the infinite altar, it also had a horn, an ice blue horn. But unlike the evil dragon, only one head can move. The two front claws of the ice dragon have broken free from the restraints, which is a huge improvement for its combat power. The terrifying sense of oppression is much stronger than that of the evil dragon. The ice dragon looked at Su Xian. Are you the so-called person who can break the deadlock of fate? Su Xian's mouth twitched, and his face was full of question marks. The next second, he directly transformed into a messenger of justice, pointing his sword at the dragon head. Your dragon eye is blinded, and the one next to you, my beloved wife, is the real daughter of destiny. As for me, I am here to help you collect the body, and by the way, tell you that your brother Zilong's body is very useful. Lin Suiying couldn't help but burst out laughing. At this time, Su Xian still had the mind to joke. The daughter of destiny? How can it be so easy? It doesn't matter. The ice dragon didn't care about Su Xian's words. You two will be buried on the top of this snowy mountain today. Some things have been destined. Roar. It opened its bloody mouth. The majestic ice dragon breath spewed out. Dragon breath again. As a sub-dragon killer, every time Su Xian fights with the sub-dragon clan, the first skill he faces must be dragon breath, but this time the dragon breath is extremely terrifying. Everything is frozen wherever the ice dragon breath passes. Not only that, the temperature around is also rapidly decreasing. The extremely low temperature can already affect Lin Suiying's actions, and even Su Xian is frozen by the cold wind. Seeing this, Lin Suiying's figure flashed and came under the huge head of the ice dragon. Since most of its body is still sealed, the ice dragon's range of movement is limited, and the bottom of its head is the best place to avoid dragon breath. Lin Suiying held the water moon sword in his hand, and blue lotus flowers bloomed, stabbing from under the head to the throat of the ice dragon, and a giant claw next to it suddenly slapped. The combat power of the ice dragon with movable claws is too strong. As long as they get close to the head, they will be slapped away by the claws. Facing the giant claws of the ice dragon, Su Xian and Lin Suiying did not dare to resist. To repel Lin Suiying's attack, the ice dragon raised both claws at the same time and slapped the ground fiercely. The snow on the ground was rolled up and sprayed with green liquid towards the two. At the same time, the ice dragon roared again. There were several tornadoes between heaven and earth for no reason. The ice blades in the wind were dense. If you were caught in it, your body would definitely be cut into pieces in an instant. Su Xian secretly groaned. Is it so difficult to fight with two more claws? The spray of snow columns mixed with venom and the strong suction of the tornado constantly compressed the fighting space of Su Xian and Lin Suiying. The two could not get close to the ice dragon itself. Suiying, how confident are you that you can break its defense with one move? Su Xian's voice sounded in Lin Suiying's heart. 100%. Lin Suiying was very confident in herself, but she quickly added, but we can't take risks and fight. We must find its flaws, otherwise we will be in a dead end after one move. She knew that Su Xian had a secret technique to temporarily maintain an invincible state. This secret technique can indeed cover her to rush to the ice dragon, but she can only break the defense with one strike, and it is impossible to kill the ice dragon. At that time, Su Xian, who has lost his protection, will be in danger. If Su Xian's single-shot killing ability is stronger, perhaps the two of them will have a chance to kill the ice dragon with one strike. What if I break its defense? Su Xian suddenly said. You, Lin Suiying said without hiding, you can't. It is so difficult to break the ice dragon's defense. Even if it is her, it is impossible to break it with strength alone. She must use the characteristics of the water moon sword, forced mirror shattering, to break it. Instead of taking risks, it is better to slowly deal with it with the help of the burning sun formation. Suiying. Su Xian shouted. Huh. Lin Suiying was puzzled. Tell you a secret. What secret? Women can never say that men can't do it. The next moment, the extreme evil aura burst out, and Su Xian once again had a purple sword in his hand. In terms of explosive destructive power, the magic sword Apophis is not inferior to the water moon sword, and in some aspects it even has a stronger effect. Su Xian's voice rang in Lin Suiying's heart again. Watch out, your husband can do anything. Without waiting for Lin Suiying to reply, he had already killed the ice dragon with a sword. Reckless. Lin Suiying was helpless and could only follow. At this time, the thousand machine sword turned into a pair of wings, and the blood-colored marks crossed the sky, allowing Su Xian's charge speed to reach the extreme. Alas, didn't I say I would only help him once? Apophis regretted in the body of the magic sword, why was I fooled by him again? It turns out that stinky men are not good things, and they are full of sweet words. After helping him this time, I will never help him again. Just now, Su Xian threw another condition to Apophis to lure the soul. He promised Apophis that in the future, he would not only help her find a suitable sword puppet, but also help her improve the quality and surpass the limit of mythical weapons. Originally, Apophis didn't believe it, but when she thought of Su Xian's home, the tree, and the stupid penguin, her heart was shaken again. And Su Xian is really different from other humans. Apophis was still thinking about it. Su Xian had already dodged and rushed to the front of the ice dragon. The huge claw slapped down, Su Xian did not dodge, and the golden body of Tianyun was activated. Bang! After resisting the claw, Su Xian's body was shining with silver light and appeared above the ice dragon. The magic sword was bright with purple light. Characteristics: Destructive Edge. The ultimate destructive force that is invincible slashed down. The ice armor on the ice dragon's head was almost instantly blown apart, and the hard scales were broken after only a moment of support. The magic sword stabbed the ice dragon's skull fiercely, opening a crack. Roar. The intense pain caused the ice dragon to roar, and the temperature between heaven and earth dropped again. The two huge claws slapped at the exhausted Su Xian at the same time. Su Xian's body fell rapidly. As he fell, the water blue after image brushed past him and soared straight up. This sword. It was an absolute trust attack. 10,000 times return. I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 278. Falling Streamer. Rising Sword Shadow. The two crossed each other. On the water moon sword, a blue lotus bloomed. Following the opening made by Su Xian with the magic sword Apophis, Lin Suiying slashed down fiercely, and the beautiful and deadly sword intent rushed into the head of the ice dragon. Bang! The cracked skull shattered like a mirror at this moment, and exploded. In an instant, the strong mental power spread. Lin Suiying's figure flew backwards and hit the snow pillar in the distance. The roar of the ice dragon was mixed with dizzying mental shock, so she could only cover her ears and curl up on the snow. The two giant claws of the ice dragon even clapped Su Xian. The golden light flashed. The golden body of destiny stored in the sound of the clear spring was also used. After blocking the attack, Su Xian quickly escaped, hugged Lin Suiying on the ground and flew away. With the protection of the supreme meditation mantra, the mental impact of the ice dragon did not have such a strong effect on him. Green pus rushed out from the head of the ice dragon. Losing the skull was a fatal blow to the ice dragon. If it was hit like this again, it would definitely die here today. Damn it! The ice dragon stared at Su Xian and Lin Suiying with huge eyes, and it was full of anger. It was unwilling. If most of its power had not been sealed, it could easily crush the two humans in front of it. How could it fall into such a situation? Su Xian and Lin Suiying in his arms looked at each other, and they saw the helplessness in each other's eyes. Although the ice dragon was severely injured, its combat effectiveness was still not low. But Su Xian's two golden body of heaven's fortune had been used up, and there was only one other storage skill soul scalpel left in the Qing Quan Lai Xiang ring. If she wants to get close again, without the protection of the golden body, she will inevitably be at risk of falling. Leave it to me next. Lin Suiying's breath gradually calmed down, and she signaled Su Xian to put her down. As if she was afraid that Su Xian would worry, she smiled softly and said, "Don't worry, I won't take risks. Believe me, since I can kill the insect king in the sorrowful cave. It's not difficult to kill the ice dragon on the top of the snow mountain. What price do I need to pay?" Su Xian didn't let go. He had already guessed in his heart that since Lin Suiying could succeed alone, she naturally had unexpected means. As his wife, it's not too much to cheat a little. However, Lin Suiying only thought of using that trick now, and she must have paid a big price, otherwise she wouldn't have hesitated for so long. What choice to make depends on the price paid. After all, it's not the end of the road yet. Lin Suiying was silent. Without waiting for her to speak again, Su Xian smiled, "Don't worry, there is still one chance. If you still can't kill the ice dragon, it won't be too late for you to do it again." Really? Lin Suiying hesitated. After all, Su Xian has too many tricks, and there are countless strange tricks. No one has ever forced Su Xian to reveal all his cards. Suiying. Remember to rescue me. What do you mean? When Lin Suiying was confused, Su Xian had already rushed out. Looking at the indomitable Su Xian, Lin Suiying sighed helplessly, holding a sword to catch up, feeling sweet in her heart, just feeling that it feels so good to be protected by the person she loves. The ice dragon was still in a rage, and seeing Su Xian rushing up again, it couldn't help but feel a little scared. It was such a weak human, but it posed a fatal threat to it again and again. It was a little confused. Who is the one who changed the fate of the man and woman in front of him? Both will die. The ice dragon knew that today's battle must be a matter of life and death. It endured the severe pain, raised its head, and struggled upwards. The chain with strange runes bound it. The more it struggled, the more the power of the runes eroded it. Enduring the severe pain of erosion, the ice dragon raised its claws high. Ice and snow gathered. Its claws slapped down with countless icicles, with a very fast slapping speed and strong pressure, leaving Su Xian almost no room to dodge. Even Lin Suiying's movement speed was greatly reduced. The ice dragon knew that as long as one was killed, the other would not pose a threat to it. Facing the giant claws that slapped down, Su Xian did not dodge. The flowing star meteorite knife and the demon sword Apophis in his hands burst into brilliant light at the same time, and the sword and sword intent condensed. Whoosh! Whoosh! Two mythical weapons flew out at the same time, breaking through the wind and snow, destroying the pressure, and opening a path for Lin Suiying. The result of doing so was that Su Xian no longer had any ability to resist. The huge dragon claws slammed together fiercely. With a snap, the snow mountain was broken. This time there was no golden light flashing. When the huge claws of the ice dragon separated, Su Xian's figure had long disappeared, and even his breath disappeared without a trace. Su Xian. Lin Suying's heart trembled violently. She couldn't even feel Su Xian's breath. No wonder the slap of the claw just now had destroyed Su Xian's body and soul. Impossible. She quickly denied her inner thoughts. With Su Xian's personality, he would not do such a thing to show off his life. Su Xian must still be alive, but he hid his body with special means. She remembered what Su Xian had just said to her. Suying, remember to rescue me. What does this sentence mean? Lin Suying didn't want to think too much. Taking advantage of the path Su Xian had opened for her, she rushed to the side of the ice dragon again. At the same time, the ice dragon's giant claws had already returned to defend and swept across. If she was swept away this time, she would really have to use the last resort. Mirror flower. Water moon. On Lin Suying's arm, the mysterious lotus rune appeared, the earth trembled, and the breath between heaven and earth became scorching. At the moment when the ice dragon's claws were about to hit her. Boom! A huge pillar of scorching sun rose into the sky from the halfway point of the mountain, blocking the attack. The mirror lake spread. The bright moon rose from the lake. The ice dragon felt that the nerves in his head were all pulled up by the rising moon, and the pain was like his soul being torn apart bit by something. Damn bondage! I won't accept it. The ice dragon's huge eyes burst with hostility, but his vitality was fading away bit by bit. Rumble! Rumble! The snowy mountain could not withstand the high-intensity battle and collapsed. The burning sunstone on the mountainside completely melted the ice and snow, and pillars of fire rushed up. The body of the ice dragon was pierced by pillars of burning sunstone. The energy of the burning sunstone not only caused external injuries, but also burned its soul, inhibiting its recovery, and the huge body was burned up bit by bit. In the wind and snow, Lin Suying closed her eyes slightly, her face was sad and beautiful. Blood kept dripping on her right arm with runes, dyeing the water moon sword bright red. Until the life of the ice dragon completely dissipated and the soul was burned up. Lin Suying no longer had the strength to support herself and fell into the collapsed snow mountain. Her body without any strength was carried by the rolling snow flow. As the avalanche rolled, she had no intention of paying attention to her own pain, and was still using her last divine thoughts to find Su Xian's trace. The vast snow, mixed with the burnt-out residue of the burning sunstone, the atmosphere between heaven and earth was in chaos. Su Xian, where is it? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 10,000 times return, I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shuet. Chapter 279. I don't know how long it took. The weak body finally regained some strength. Relying on the protection of the spiritual Shuiyu sword, Lin Suying did not suffer any damage in the avalanche. Suying, remember to rescue me. These words echoed in her mind. At this moment, a knife and a sword flew over. It was the Liu Guangxingyu knife and the magic sword Apophis. I know where Su Xian is, follow me. Apophis emerged from the magic sword. Thank you. Lin Suying took a complicated look at the sexy and arrogant sword spirit, but still clasped her fists and thanked him. Following Apophis, they came to a ruined place. Lin Suying saw the remains of the ice dragon. The scorching sun fire did not burn it out, and some of the skeleton was still preserved. After death, it still exuded a terrifying pressure. Under the remains of the ice dragon, she saw a necklace with clouds and smoke. Su Xian's necklace. Lin Suying recognized it at a glance, and she immediately thought of something. When Su Xian returned from Lulan Star, Atna and Zioki were brought back from the necklace. In this mythical necklace, there should be an extremely special space that can accommodate real life. She pushed the remains of the ice dragon away and took out the necklace. There were some cracks on the necklace, probably destroyed by the angry giant claws of the ice dragon. The mythical equipment was not indestructible and also had durability. The ice dragon was extremely powerful when angry, which obviously exceeded the normal tolerance of the breath of mist. In the life space of the breath of mist, Su Xian sat in the center in confusion. This was the method he had thought of before, using the life space of the breath of mist to avoid the ice dragon's extraordinary attack. Unexpectedly, the ice dragon was too fierce and caused problems with the breath of mist, causing him to be trapped in it and unable to get out for the time being. Of course, the most uncomfortable person was not Su Xian, but the 5 kings of Lulanstar who were still imprisoned in the life space. 9 of the 14 kings of Lulanstar were killed before. The remaining 5 curled up in the corner, not even daring to look at Su Xian. They were once high and mighty, but now they are not even as good as a worm in front of Su Xian. The 5 kings murmured in their hearts. Why did this guy live in the small dark room by himself? He has been locked up in the small dark room, and he still can't have peace? Outside, Lin Suiying looked at the damaged breath of mist helplessly. Apophis, are you sure Su Xian is in there? Yes, Apophis said, this guy asked me to tell you before he hid in. Really? Confirming that Su Xian was hiding in it, Lin Suiying was relieved. It seems that she can only go to the great craftsman of Longdu Academy to repair the breath of mist before Su Xian can come out. Apophis looked at Lin Suiying with a dim gaze. I didn't expect the stinky man to be so nice to you. The big liar is not as profit-seeking as I imagined. Of course, because I am his wife. Lin Suiying proudly straightened her chest, as if to declare her sovereignty. She put the broken breath of mist on her neck, stuffed it into her collar, and carefully nurtured it. What about you two? Lin Suiying looked at the sword hanging in the air and asked again. The flowing star meteorite knife exuded a gentle thought, indicating that it was willing to follow Lin Suiying. After all, its master was still on her. The arrogant Apophis did not resist. This woman. Not bad. Although not as gentle, lovely, beautiful, and kind as Xia, she is at least very strong. At present, it seems that she is a little stronger than the big liar Su Xian. Let's go. Lin Suiying smiled and left with the sword. With 3 mythical quality swords, 2 swords, and 1 knife, she finally understood why Su Xian was so confident at this moment. This feeling of equipment crushing. Too arrogant. Blue Star, Dingai Royal City, Dingai Academy. Warrior Academy, Freshman Training Room. The students are training various professional skills in an orderly manner. In the front row, Xyli, who is just over 1 meter tall, is swinging a nearly 2 meter long hammer and practicing very vigorously. 1 hammer down. The whole training room will shake. Looking at Xyli practicing diligently, the other students are dumbfounded and feel ashamed. Since this elementary school student came to their class, they can only lower their heads when walking on the road. What on earth is this? The whole class was crushed by a little lowly, and there was no place to put their faces. Not only classmates are helpless, but also the tutor. Xyli's background is too strong. Enough to be called the strongest second generation in all the academies in the country. My mother is a top king, the previous governor of Dingai Royal City, whose beauty and swordsmanship dominated an era, the brilliant Water Moon King. The master is Su Xian, the Marquis of Qinji, who has been in the limelight recently, shocking the world and breaking the history. He is praised as the future leader of Longguo. The most important thing is that Xyli's talent is even better than her mother and teacher. She has reached the peak of the Silver Moon realm at a young age. When she grows up, she may be a more dazzling figure than the Water Moon King. The instructor is almost always paying attention to Xyli. If this little girl has a problem, I'm afraid Dingai Academy will be turned upside down. Suddenly, Xylee, who was practicing, put down the hammer. She raised her head slightly, covered her mouth with her little hand, as if she was about to sneeze. Ah, AQ. Boom. The next second, the whole training room was shaken. The instructor was startled. What's going on? The other students also looked at Xylee at the front of the training room with a blank look on their faces. Sorry. Being stared at by so many people, Xylee felt a little embarrassed and whispered, I'm sorry for disturbing everyone's training. He didn't finish his words. Achoo. Another sneeze. The training room shook again. The strong breath suddenly spread in the training room. The sudden change made the instructor's face change, and he immediately blocked the spreading breath. She looked at Xylee with some dissatisfaction, suspecting that this little guy was deliberately making trouble. However, the moment he saw Xylee, the instructor's eyes were completely frozen, his pupils shrank, and his eyes were full of horror, as if he had seen something terrifying. On the contrary, other students didn't react much. In their eyes, Xylee was still the cute little sister. Instructor, what's wrong with you? Xylee looked at the panicked instructor in confusion. No. Nothing. After a brief moment of unconsciousness, the instructor came back to life and asked uncertainly, Xiaoli, have you made another breakthrough? Ah. Xiaoli realized it later, felt her own realm, and immediately cheered happily, yeah. I made another breakthrough, and soon I will be able to surpass senior brother Mew. Huh, that's not right. Xiaoli soon found another problem. This time she did not break through to the Sun realm. But she broke through two realms at once. In other words, she is now in the Tianhe realm. Why? It's different from what the instructor said. Tianhe realm. It's very easy. 10,000 times return, I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 280. Tianhe realm. Looking at Xylee, who broke through from the peak of Silver Moon realm to Tianhe realm with just 2 sneezes, the instructor felt his scalp numb. Is this still a human being? The little carp is the school's key care target. The higher UPS have said that any abnormality in this little guy must be reported as soon as possible. Thinking of this, the instructor quickly took out his communicator and immediately sent a message to the school. Zhejiang Prince's mansion, living room. Several powerful feudal lords gathered together, and the talkers from all the major forces in Dingai City were here, discussing something with Zhejiang King Miao Xian. Buzz. Suddenly, Wendy Hao, the principal of Dingai Academy, felt the communicator on his body vibrating continuously. This method of communication means that something urgent has happened. He quickly took out his communicator, and when he saw the messages, Marquis Wenda was stunned. Miao Xian and several other feudal lords also noticed something strange about Wenda Ho. What's wrong? Wenda Miao Xian asked. I just received a message from my tutor at the school that Li Xylee has made a breakthrough, Marquis Wenda said. Another breakthrough, King Zhejiang was shocked, this little guy is really a freak. But she is already at the peak of the Silver Moon realm. It is understandable if she breaks through to the Sunlight realm, Yang Yuanho said. No, Marquis Wenda looked complicated, she did not break through to the Sun realm, but directly broke through to the Tianhe realm. What? At this time, even the king of Zhejiang couldn't sit still anymore. He stood up from his seat and raised his voice a lot, Tianhe realm. 11-year-old Tianhe realm. He knew exactly what this meant. In the entire history of Blue Star's career, there has never been such a genius. Whether it is those demigods in the past or today's Shuiyu King Lin Suiying and Qinji Hao Suxian, they can only be overshadowed by such talents. Other powerful feudal lords were also shocked beyond measure. The same idea came to their minds at the same time. This Li Xylee. Not a human being. When King Shuiyu brought Li Xiaoli back from the battlefield of the two realms more than 10 years ago, many people speculated that Xiaoli was not King Shuiyu's biological daughter. Over the years, there has been no news about Xiao Li's father. Now King Shuiyu has confirmed his relationship with Su Xian. The two have been in a couple for a long time, which has been made public for a long time, which further proves that Xiao Li is not his biological child. All the feudal lords did not dare to comment too much and all looked at the king of Zhejiang. If we really talk about seniority, the king of Zhejiang is still Li Xiaoli's nephew. The king of Zhejiang's side, this matter involves too much and is beyond our control. Everyone, please remember that the news about Li Xiaoli's breakthrough to the Tianhe realm must not be spread outside. Everyone has their own guesses. The king of Zhejiang was even more worried. If Xiao Li was really not a human being, the situation would become extremely complicated. It is impossible for normal humans to be able to break through the realm at such a fast speed at an age when their bones have just developed and their talents have not yet been fully enlightened. There is a high possibility that Li Xiaoli is not a human race. Only those races with special bloodlines in Lowland Star could possibly achieve Li Xiaoli's current level of creation. The bloodline of thousands of races in Lowland Star. Just thinking of this made King Zhejiang feel dizzy and did not dare to think deeply. If this is really the case, the authorities may take some extreme measures. House arrest and observation of Li Xiaoli is considered the lightest way to deal with it. At that time, given the love that Shui Yuan Lin Suiying and Qinji Ho Su Xian have for Li Xiaoli, would they agree to this kind of treatment? Su Xian disagrees. What will your parents do? Then where will you go? It's so difficult. King Zhejiang took a deep breath. He had never been so nervous when facing a king-level enemy. If this matter is not handled properly, it may cause internal turmoil within the officialdom. Go to Dingai Academy first. The king of Zhejiang's side, dismissed everyone, and rushed to Dingai Academy with Marquis Wenda. On the other side, Li Xiaoli was also taken out of the training room by his instructor. At the same time, high-level officials also received this shocking news. At this time, the only person who did not realize the seriousness of the matter was Xiao Li himself, who happily followed his tutor to the principal's office. I hummed a little tune along the way, feeling bright and immersed in the joy of breakthrough. I have to tell the teacher and mom. Xiao Li thought and separated a ray of mental power into the thought space. The name of the cow-horse combination and the little carp lights up. Teacher. Senior brother Mu, junior brothers and sisters, I have made a breakthrough. I have broken through the Tianhe realm. Xiaoli excitedly shared the joy of breakthrough. What's going on? Lao Wu Miaotian jumped out. He thought he had read the news wrong. Has little carp broken through to the Tianhe realm? The third Xianyuan Qingqing was dumbfounded. She was only in the Tianhe realm now, so she was caught up by Xiaoli so quickly? Is it true that Xiao Li is the most talented person in the sect? Second senior sister is so terrifying. Sun Xiaokong was also hit. He still remembers that when he first started, his goal was to catch up with his teacher. And now, he fought tooth and nail on the battlefield of the two realms, which was the most suitable place to hone his body and mind, but was overtaken by his second senior sister who was under 12 years old. Are all the teacher's disciples perverted? Congratulations, second senior sister. Lao Liugzhu was confused and didn't have many thoughts. He hadn't realized how extraordinary his second senior sister was. The most unacceptable one is Zhang Mu. After practicing hard day and night for so long, he was still surpassed by the second apprentice sister. It was really embarrassing for him to be the eldest senior brother. Now, only Xiaoqi, who had just entered the sect, was weaker than him. But Xiaoqi was only 6 or 7 years old. Who knows, one day he would soar to the sky like Xiaoli. Su Xian, who was resting in the life space, also felt the movement in the mind space, and his mental power immediately entered the mind space. Xiaoli broke through the Tianhe realm. Su Xian looked at this matter from a completely different perspective from the other disciples. He was more worried. The matter of absolute frozen soil had just been resolved, and Xiaoli broke through immediately. There must be a connection between the two. Teacher. Xiaoli was very happy to see Su Xian's response. She wanted to become stronger quickly so that she could always be with her teacher and mother. She told Su Xian about her breakthrough experience. Su Xian's worry became stronger. A breakthrough without any signs was not a good thing. He was afraid that future events would completely involve Xiaoli. He didn't have the ability to influence the battle situation now, and didn't want things to develop too quickly. Xiaoli, no matter what, you must not leave Dingai King City. Su Xian reminded, my mother and I will be back soon, understand? I understand, teacher. Xiaoli responded obediently, keeping the teacher's words in mind. Although Xiaoli has already reached the Tianhe realm, he has made too many breakthroughs all the way and has never encountered any setbacks. He is too young and has never seen the evil of human hearts. The official water is too deep. Su Xian is afraid that they will make some hot-headed moves. He must go back as soon as possible.